Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for tonight's edition of Wave Extra. Jose Sosaya back with you here in the Wave Now studios as we're winding down our Wednesday evening. Appreciate you joining us, of course, through the many different ways you can connect with us as we go through the stream of the big stories of the day, not just through your Wave Now app on your smart TV devices, also, of course, on all the streaming platforms we normally have available for you. And coming back here after just a little bit of time away, but back here in the studio to break down some of not just, of course, the big stories and things we're going to further flesh out with questions and more perspectives tonight on Wave News at 11, but just an opportunity, as I always like to tell you folks who may be new to this particular opportunity to check in with us on the Wave News team, but just sort of play pieces of video recordings of just the news we're getting out there in the day, but just sometimes to let it breathe and have like the long context so you can see just sort of, for example, when it comes to press conferences or just long conversations about issues that matter perhaps more so than others to lots of you out there in the community. And we would apply that, of course, to what unfortunately and awfully happened, considering this morning with the bus stop shooting, the deadly bus stop shooting, and the stories we hear from witnesses, children, parents having to dodge and duck these bullets standing at what would be a bus stop for JCPS school students. At our last check tonight, so I'm looking at the clock, 8:06, we don't yet know, or we don't believe LMPD has yet caught the suspect they're looking for. And for context, the frustration that perhaps is boiling, a little further up to something we're going to show you in a little bit, but it's the second incident happening within a week at the corner of 10th and Chestnut. So what feels like a particularly vulnerable spot in the community for those who feel like they're very much exposed and afraid. So we know the shooting happened at around 8 a.m. This was, again, at a bus stop on 10th and West Chestnut Streets. We've had a team effort kind of go outside after the fact to talk to neighbors and leaders. We also, of course, talked to LMPD officers to kind of get a sense of what we know so far. The victim, unfortunately, a woman who was walking with a student, she was shot, she died. The child she was with was not hurt. Again, as details have been coming in and what we know at least up to this point, as it happened near Central High School. Classes were already in session. JCPS letting us know, at least of the three schools that were most in danger for what was going on, but classes, when that was going on. So classes at nearby Coleridge Taylor Elementary School had not even started yet, but apparently for the start times, the district letting us know everything kind of went as it was normally scheduled to do so. The thought of students and parents around angering the community with JCPS superintendent also calling the violence senseless. And the first piece of what I wanted to show you all tonight, if you're joining us just now on the different streams, is the part of the longer press conference that was early in the afternoon with not just the new superintendent, Dr. Brian Yearwood, but with Mayor Craig Greenberg and LMPD Chief Paul Humphrey. And what you're going to notice at the beginning is more so the questions we as reporters of all the different media entities here in the Metro, just sort of asking to kind of see what we can confirm from leaders who would have that information. But you'll notice a little further into the video we're going to play is a neighbor, a woman who says she lives right on that corner in that neighborhood where this tragedy happened, and sort of demanding these answers from leaders. And so you're going to notice that and sort of where that's taken perhaps some of our questions and our reporting to get some perspective from neighbors just like her, surely neighbors just like you. So I'm going to play this part of what we were able to hear from Mayor Greenberg and Chief Humphrey, as I can set up the video right here. If I can get that for you. Okay, we're going to play that part right now.
We're happy to take some questions from the media.
Chief, can you address what led you to the suspect who was arrested today, and is he connected to any previous incidents in the city?
Yeah, so the question was what led us to the suspect that we detained today, and is he connected to anything else going on? So we had eyewitnesses who identified this person by name as well as by description, and the description was very close to what was in the video and what he had been wearing, and that's how he ended up being identified. And he was in the area, but he was not a shooter.
Chief, can you talk about these photos that are going to be released? What do you have?
So as far as the photos, as of right now, the ones that I've seen were not the best. We do not have a clear picture of his face, what I've seen. I'm hoping that as they comb through the photos and the videos, they're able to get us better still shots, but we have full body images of this suspect both before and during the shooting.
Can you say anything else about the confrontation? Someone said that there was an argument before the shot was fired, making it appear that they knew each other.
So the question being about what led up to the confrontation, and I'm not certain on any of that right now, and that'll come out as part of the investigation.
One of the questions that the community had is that there usually, since the first shooting, there was a police officer on duty when the kids got on the bus stop. This morning there wasn't.
Yes, so the question was about police officers not being at that bus stop this morning the way they were every day before. And the officers made a decision today. Clearly, I wish they had been there. They made the decision based on the fact that that conflict last week, we had already had one of the people involved. We thought that conflict was over with, but I definitely wish we had officers out there this morning still.
I think a lot of folks in the public want to hear from the mayor, from JCPS. What changes tomorrow? What is the city going to do? How would the public do? What can the city do to make sure that kids getting to and from the bus are safe, and particularly on West Chestnut, which is clearly a problem?
So the question is about what are we going to do? We will continue to be vigilant. We will continue. Let me just also put this in perspective. There are about 40,000 bus stops, if you look at morning and afternoon bus routes in this community. So it is not practical to cover every bus stop with law enforcement. We will continue to look for ways that we can collaborate more, to have more presence out and about during the times when buses are picking up and dropping off kids. We're going to continue to be in the community, working to get information about these crimes, and working with young people after school to prevent crimes from happening in the future. One other thing that I did want to mention also that could be a big help is if you are a business owner, you can put cameras on the outside of your building. You can tie those into the real-time crime center so that LMPD has access to more information if things like this happen again, so that we have better photographic evidence of crimes that have happened. If you're a homeowner, you can do the same thing. You can get cameras too for your home and be willing to share that information. That is the best way to apprehend individuals that commit acts of crime like this. We will continue to double down and triple down on all of the work that we're doing. It's the work of our police department working in partnership with our administration that has made the progress we've made. Clearly, we need to make more. We'll continue to do that. We're implementing some new plans right now. For example, our Office of Violence Prevention just is completing a request for a proposal for a new initiative called Get Busy, where we're going to be working with local nonprofit organizations to provide services to middle school students to help them get on the right path if they veered off course, if they need some more support and enrichment. So that's one of the things that we're really ready to roll out here in the coming days.
So my
You said the police made it their own decision to leave. They felt like it was over because you caught the suspect. At any point, did the LMPD talk to the community to know that this is an ongoing feud and that wasn't the
So the question was about LMPD leave. Ma'am?
I wasn't finished.
Look,
how can you answer if I didn't get the finished answer?
Finish your question.
Thank you. You said that LMPD made the decision to leave because they felt like because they got the suspect that it was over. At what time do LMPD have partnerships in the community to know that it was not over, that this is ongoing?
So who did it? If you know, who did it?
I'm asking you about LMPD.
So here's the
You're
thing.
asking me
Here's
as a
the thing,
community
here's the
member
thing,
what I'm doing in the community.
LMPD did not shoot this woman.
Did I ask you that? That's not what I said.
So
You
this is
said
about a
that
15-year-old.
LMPD left
This is
because
about a
they made the
15-year-old.
decision, right? That they felt like this was over. My question was, what
have
you
any
don't
questions
want
from
to
the
know
media,
is,
please?
and you keep rudely interrupting me, then you wonder why I'm from the community. You should have no problem with my question or no problem with what I'm asking. So what I'm asking you is, what is LMPD going to do to have relationships in the community so they will know that that was not over, that they did not need to leave at that moment. So for you to get angry, that means you missed a step. And that's okay, because nobody's perfect. But never interrupt someone when they're speaking to you, because you can't reply if I'm still talking, because that means you don't understand what I'm saying. So as again, LMPD left because they felt it was time. Who did you talk to in the community? Because if you go in the community right now, they will tell you that it's not over. It wasn't over that day. So I'm trying to figure out what are you going to do as LMPD to come and really come in the community and not just come to police us, but to come and protect us. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, clearly you have a very valid point. There is a gap. There is a gap of communication both on the enforcement side and the pre-enforcement side.
That was my first question.
There's clearly a gap that we need to fill.
Exactly.
And we need more ways to do that. What I can tell you is that if you just look in that area alone, that's part of our crime plan, and that SFI area, that's sustained
from
focus
that area.
improvement. What's that?
I'm from there.
So that's part of our crime plan, and I think what you've probably seen is our proactivity just in that census tract has gone up 60%. Our arrests have
Y'all
not.
keep coming with data, but we live in the
Will you allow me to answer the question now, ma'am? So, but part of that is not just officers going out trying to lock people up. It is a sustained effort to make sure that we are asking people what their needs are, and we have fulfilled many needs. There is clearly more that we have to do. If we have one homicide, it's too many. If we have one bad relationship with police and the community, it's too many. So I'm open to ideas about how we do that better. So,
Y'all say y'all working with the community, but we don't see you in the community. But it's
Very,
okay. It's the
very,
questions they don't want
very
answered.
important question. Earlier on today, I'm new here, so I'm learning a lot, and you know, we'll do
We
more.
understand that you.
Yes, our board member is Gail Strange, who's standing at the back, called a meeting about a week ago to begin the process of discussing that very same question: what can we do? And one of the things that came out is we have to engage with our community because our community members know what's happening. And we have to be able to engage them in such a manner that we have that free conversation. Because we teach our students, you see something, say something. Now we have to engage with our community to continue to build those bridges, so that way we will know more, like you're saying. If this is not over, we should be in that community, talking to community residents to find out, okay, how can we stop the violence? How can we protect each other? How can we take care of each other? So I think that is coming. Very valid. Yes.
Thank you all
Yes.
very much.
Okay.
Send me your questions.
And so what you just heard there was, again, the Q&A portion after JCPS Superintendent Dr. Yearwood, Mayor Greenberg, Chief Humphrey had kind of laid out their responses and the information that they were able to provide, at least also, and you heard them discussing the meetings that they were planning or the sort of action plans that they're discussing to adopt. But there was that part of the exchange where there was a neighbor sort of, sharing her frustrations and the chief responding to at least, the points that she was making. So that's something we're going to touch on a bit. I do want to point out this is an update. Just so you all see, this is the kind of stuff we get is sort of update statements, releases as far as the information that we have. So far, it's kind of the way we'll get some of these formal updates from LMPD. And if you can see the title headline, it just says they arrest the second teen for firing the gun near that same corner of 10th and West Chestnut, August 7th. So if you remember, we had learned there was an initial arrest. And in this case, it was this afternoon, detectives arrested a second person. The suspect, who is also 15 years old, charged with more than 30 counts of wanton endangerment, possession of a handgun by a minor. You see the second offense there. The investigation does stay active, though. So that is, as far as that update is concerned, while officers and detectives are still looking for the shooter who they believe is responsible as far as today's deadly act, that is still something that is going on. And so what I'm going to play for you now is if you just we're hearing a bit of the voice from the woman, the neighbor who was making that question to Chief Humphrey. We found her this afternoon while buses were coming around that corner, bus stops actually were coming around that corner of 10th and West Chestnut. She tells us her name is Juanisha Sanders. She runs her own community group, and she spent some time our Julia Richardson spent some time talking to her, not just her, but a bunch of different parents, guardians, neighbors, activists who have kids who live and come back from home or go to school at that particular stop. And so what spurred us wanting to find Ms. Sanders, Wanisha Sanders, was sort of her commentary and what she had to say to Chief Humphrey. And so we're just going to play the part. And you might have seen what Julia Richardson was playing earlier this evening at around 5 and 6. But I just want to show you the breadth of the whole conversation they were having just as school was letting out.
So tell me what you guys are doing out here, what prompted this?
Well, basically, I was called out here last week for the shooting that took place. One of the community members that was out here, her child gets on the bus and they witnessed the shooting. So she wanted me to come and talk to the community and see what resources that I could offer. This morning I was woke up out of my sleep by the victim's cousin calling me to tell me that his cousin had been shot and her kids was outside. So my thing was first just to come. I didn't come with anything. I came with myself just to talk to the community, feel like how they felt, what they were feeling in that moment, what they needed in that moment, and what can I do? Like, what is that you need me to do so that we can help the community? So I just called on the community. We need men, we need the mothers, we need the cousins, we need the sisters, brothers. Come to the bus stop. The first thing we do is come together, because we could all say how many different plans we have or what motion, but right now the community just need to see the community and see us show up. That's it.
So this is just kind of being a support for the kids?
Yes, being in support, and from this day on we will begin building out what we need to do next. So by us being on the bus stop the next couple of days, I'll be here talking to the kids, talking to them on camera, just so I can know exactly what it is they want and start building out what they feel like they can help in their community, because this is an ongoing problem. It's a problem not just here, but in every community. And we need to come together, all organizations, all leaders, to come together and figure out what's going to happen. But it first starts placed in the community. You can't make decisions about the community and not talk to the community members, not come to ask us what we need, how we feel, or what we feel like the problem is. You can't always think you know the problem or have the solution to the problem. The community is the solution.
And so, how do you feel knowing that, they thought they got the suspect, now they don't?
That angered me so bad, because LMPD stated that you all left because you felt the need wasn't there because you caught the first suspect. Anybody knows when something go on, it's not just that one particular thing that happened. This is something that built up to this. You get what I'm saying? So for you to just go ahead and leave, no. Or for y'all to just be out here on the presence, the police is here right now. They have not got out of their cars one time. They haven't greeted one child. You haven't talked to one community member. How are we going to stop this? How are we supposed to trust you to come up and tell you something? Then y'all say y'all let him go. They need to come to the community. You need to come and talk to the community, because you could have had the right person. I need LMPD to stop thinking they can solve crimes alone, just because you have the position or the title of police. Do I believe the story they got is right? No, because I'm in the community and I heard a double story. But it's not my job to help the police do their job. My job is to protect the community by any means. So if that means going and talking to the victim's family, if that means going and talking to the shooter's family, that's how you begin to stop this. Because now another murder's happened, so y'all think it's going to be done? You think in a couple days you're going to sit at the bus stop and that's it? Something's going to trickle down, and we got to get out here and get to the problem.
And because I know you were out here last week too when the incident happened. What have you been hearing from the community and from kids too? Because
kids are scared. They're scared to get on the bus. They're scared to walk home. The community is angry. They're upset. They're hurt. You know what I'm saying? And they need resources. We need the resources to help the community, and that's what they want. They angry right now. Like this morning, all you heard was screams and hollers as the news started to get out that this baby had passed away. Because she's 20-something years old. She's a baby. She said her whole life to live. Now we have this 7-year-old that watched her mother get gunned down. We got to help. We got to come and combat that, come straight to the problem. We got to be out here talking. And like I told them, I call on the mayor, the police chief, organizations. Stop coming down here in official capacity. Come down here as human beings. I seen the mayor's assistant today talking, and this hit her so hard because she has kids that went to the YMCA. She was in tears. You can't say that you're tired of this. You can't say it's a problem and you don't show it. The mayor said he was angry. It didn't look like it to me. It looked like he was angry enough. Because angry is me. Angry is the community. I want to see you down here. It's after 3. I talked to him at the press conference at 3 o'clock.
Show your faces more outside of being violent going on. Show up when the kids need things for school. You know, it's bigger than just gun violence when the kids is in need. You know what I'm saying? They looking for help. We need the help. So if y'all got the resources, won't y'all come back to the communities where we need it at? You know, it's more than just popping up when something goes wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be there when it's beneficial for the kids, and just not when it's time to turn on the cameras.
Yeah, because you get all this funding. Y'all giving organizations, some of them get $1.2 million. But 90% of it go to salaries. Then what is left for the community? Why do you need to, you're saying you're doing violence intervention and prevention, right? They say we got all these organizations. They talking about them. The mayor just was. But 90% is going to salaries. They said it at the budget meeting, right? But where's the other 10% going? What is 10% of 1.2 going to do for the communities? Why can't half of that, why don't y'all cut your staff down? Work more on a case by case and stop trying to get a referrals and get data. Because I'm so sick of hearing data. Let's stop getting data. Work on these families. You can't just go to the shooter. Let's talk to the mother, the father. You got to help a whole home before you can help one individual. Because it didn't just come from that one individual. Let's come down here and meet the people. Just come meet us. Talk to us. They're very open. If you was to walk through it right now and talk to them, they're going to talk to you. They might not tell you everything that what you won't know because they ain't trusted you yet. But the more they see you, the more they trust you. They got to know that you're going to stand up and stand out for anything. I always tell kids, you either stand for something or you fall for anything.
So in here, I mean, right next to a YMCA, it's, you know, I mean, there's kids
all day long.
Everywhere.
And it's a problem when you have no regard for kids.
The library, the YMCA only offers so much for the kids. Like, you know, then you got Beach of Thursday, community center ain't open, so it's really nothing for these kids to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you get more activities for them, maybe that'll help cut down the crime rate with the kids, you know what I'm saying? Give them more outreach programs and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. When we was young, we had the church buses come through. They would just pick up all the kids. The community center was out in the community doing stuff, bringing stuff. We need stuff. These kids they don't have a childhood. It's like all the kids is growing, grow up so fast because there's nothing for them to do but adult things. The pools is too high. You know what I'm saying? The parties is too high. To go to the YMCA, the membership is high. So you can't put your kids and stuff if you don't have the money, you don't have the resources. And that's where the communities came in. The organizations paid for these kids to go and do activities, to go to summer camps, to have something to do. The kids don't have nothing to look forward to. They exchanging stories of, you know, my brother got killed, my cousin was killed too, man. You know, my mom was killed, my daddy was killed. These shouldn't be stories that children are having. They should be over the summer talking about what they did this summer, how much fun they had. You know what I mean? And there's just no quality of life past 9th Street. And I mean 9th from Market to Hill Street. We need help down here. And no one organization can do it alone. And that's what I want people to stop thinking, that you can do this alone. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't like the way I talk. I don't care if you don't like the way I get to the answer. I got to the answer. So why not you help me and we come together and now we got more than one answer, we got answers.
And so now, going forward, I mean, I know you said like you're going to talk to the community and see what they need, so kind of what's the game plan now?
The game plan is to talk to the kids, figure out what they want. I'm going to go to these organizations. Like I said, my organization don't have the funding. So until I'm able to get the funding, I need to partner with another organization. So once I get the information from the kids, then the organization I feel that's really out here, I won't be going to the big name ones. I'll be going to the small grassroots organizations to get out here and help them. Because the only thing we can do is plan events for the kids. Once a week doing something, even if nothing but a barbecue and some bouncies, to let them feel like they can be a child in their community again. So that's my next step. I can't really think too far ahead. I'm a second by second person and not hour by hour person. You get what I'm saying?
And so that was the conversation Wave News reporter Julia Richardson had earlier this afternoon with, you heard her name, Ms. Juanisha Sanders, who is the person who came up after or during the Q&A session with the JCPS superintendent, the mayor, and the chief, feeling, her frustration and her indignation as she was describing there with Julia as far as what the solution would come of it after such an awful moment of violence and a tragedy right there. And so that is going to be something for those of you who are staying up late with us tonight. Julie's going to focus in on that story and just kind of distilling what to look for next, what those big questions are. So Julie is going to have that report for us tonight on Wave News at 11. So make sure you join us as she breaks all of that down, sharing, of course, also just the heart-rending moments when those neighbors initially realized what was going on, trying to call police for help. That's something we're going to make sure we include in our reporting for tonight on Wave News at 11. So here we are coming up just at 8:31. Appreciate everyone joining us now on the different streams, since we have, of course, joining us through the Wave Now app and all the different socials for all you folks tuning in tonight on Wave Extra. We're going to take a quick break just to reset, talk about the other big stories of the day from starting early Wednesday, moving through the afternoon. So make sure to stay with us. We're just going to take a quick commercial break for the folks on the Wave Now app, for the folks on streaming. We're just going to take a small little pause, and we will be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back into Wave Extra here in the Wave Now studio. A little break. Here we are, 8:33, breaking down some of the other big stories we've been keeping our eyes on throughout Wednesday. One of them, of course, the opportunity to look at a pretty major investment. The message, of course, coming from GE Appliances and their huge presence here within the Louisville Metro, at least the way company leaders were describing it, was reshoring jobs from overseas to the U.S. The company announcing their $3 billion investment overall into American manufacturing, and there is an emphasis of that coming for certain types of machines and appliances that GE would be taking care of here in Louisville. And so this was a report done by our Wave News anchor Brian Schlonsky, who was there as they were breaking out not just sort of the speech and the points that they were all wanting to make, but taking a look inside of the facility as well, and the machinery, the factory, all that stuff. Again, but company leaders really emphasizing how it's about creating American jobs. We're going to take a look at what Brian's report. Here we go.
We're here to talk about the hottest investment in American manufacturing this year.
American manufacturing, it's back. It is back.
Back, says GE Appliances, to the tune of a $3 billion investment in U.S. operations over the next 5 years. The company says the move will create 1,000 jobs across 5 states, especially right here in Louisville at Appliance Park.
This is what Built for America, this is what it looks like. Bigger American investments, more American jobs, a future right here where we're standing.
The company says it's their biggest investment since the park was built, part of a $6.5 billion U.S. specific plan since 2016.
We're not talking about reshoring products, we're actually doing it. We're not talking about increasing manufacturing, we are adding it day after day after day.
Governor Andy Beshear, one of several politicians that toured the plant on Wednesday, checking out the spaces and workers that are already pumping out washers and speaking in the new space that will become a production area for combo washer dryers and front load washers in Louisville. The governor says it's returning jobs from China back home.
GE also chose to bring laundry production to Louisville, reshoring from China to Kentucky.
That was our Brian Schlonsky with that report. Now, GE Appliances also revealed there's going to be a new mobile laundry unit. That's how they describe it, as something that's going to let families recovering from natural disasters like tornadoes, which we have covered, of course, not just within the year to date we've had in 2025, but it's just a natural occurrence given where we live and our geography and just the natural disasters that do happen to pop up. But so these would be mobile laundry units that have the tools that people might need after a disaster situation so they can access clean laundry quickly. And so that is just something that was revealed as part of the big announcement today from GE. I want to take you now to some images of a rather sad story here as well. And this one having to do with a community and school kids grieving. It's the tragic death, and here we found 2 12th grade girls at Jackson City High School. They had an idea to bring a little light to their peers, so they were honoring Jaden Spicer. Tuesday, the school posted this idea. The community listened, filling the halls with Jaden's favorite colors. This is at least how the girls described it.
Anytime that you have a youth that's missing, it's heightened awareness, especially as a school administrator and especially as a parent. I'm a parent of 3 kids. So anytime that you have any incident of any child missing, you become fully aware of how can we support, what can we do.
And so that was the school administration talking there. I want to credit reporter McKinley Calandrino with this update on what ultimately became of not just of Jaden Spicer, but the investigation as to where detectives now stand. And this is McKinley Calandrino's report.
The first few days back to school have been different this year in Breathitt County, as the community learns more of the heartbreaking loss of 10-year-old Jaden Spicer.
So we've had to talk to kids and tell them there was a child in the county that has passed away tragically. So the atmosphere just, I think in the county as a whole, has been very tense, and people's been kind of scared. And here at Jackson City, we like to uplift our community in any way that we can.
While the tragic death has the community grieving, 2 12th graders at Jackson City Schools sparked the idea to bring light to this dark situation and honor little Jaden as students and staff walked the halls. On Tuesday, the school posted the girls' idea to Facebook, and the community listened, filling the halls with his favorite color on Wednesday.
We learned that his favorite colors were red and blue because he likes Sonic and Spider-Man. So we thought in honor of him, we should wear his favorite colors to just kind of spread awareness of the situation.
Jaden attended Highland Turner Elementary School, who is planning on wearing his favorite colors, red and blue, on Thursday and Friday. Faculty and staff told me they were advised not to make a comment since the investigation is still ongoing.
It doesn't matter what school you go to. We want to support every student in every school, every district. We want to build them up and help in any way that we can.
No matter the school district or mascot you wear, Breathitt County is grieving the loss of this child together.
Because this is something that shouldn't have happened. It should.
This is really a tragedy that we
Yeah.
want to bring remembrance to.
Hoping to bring awareness to his story and help heal the community. In Breathitt County, McKinley Calandrino, WYMT Mountain News.
And so that sad update there from Breathitt County, but a community trying to rally together after finding out what had happened. Of course, as far as the investigation updates go, a resource you can always get that latest information and updates as we're learning them from deputies, investigators, detectives. You can find that, of course, on wave3.com. Just as a reminder that that's another great tool to just see where this investigation unfolded from tragedy goes forward. All right, we're at 8:40. We're going to go through more of today's top stories. We're going to go through some bigger, or some other headlines for stories. We want to make sure we circle back to those. We're going to, of course, end tonight with we'll call it some news that hopefully will put a smile on your face. But we're going to take, as I said, a pause for not just folks on the Wave Now stream, but also for you folks in our streaming conversation as well on the social media channels. So we'll take, again, a quick commercial break and be right back for more Wave Extra. Welcome back, everyone. 8:43 here in the Wave Now studio for tonight's edition of Wave Extra on August 13th, this Wednesday. Jose Sosaya holding things down for you here at the desk. We're going to take a look at an update coming from the other side of the river for you folks in not just southern Indiana, but a wider picture of some new numbers on education. And for those parents who are familiar, kids at a certain age, of course, you'll likely know what this is about with iRead scores. And so these are test scores. The new ones just released today in context for a lot of different school districts, but it seems many are reporting quite big improvements. And so with that in mind, let's bring some video up there for you with some sound. So again, for those who are not familiar, or at least specifically with iRead, so it's a standardized test given to third graders to test their reading skills. So now the result is 21, at least this is the update from our team, our sister team in Evansville, for example. So there are 21 elementary schools out that way. For example, they increased their previous rate, and overall pass rate for them about 83%, up over 11% from last year. Here, we're going to hear from one staff member. I believe this may be a reading specialist saying the work toward these test scores starts a lot sooner before third grade. So let's see if we can play that part.
It really is a team effort. You're communicating with parents, you're communicating with the interventionalists, you're communicating with all of the teachers who have previously had these students, because third grade is the grade where they have to pass.
So as you heard there, Ms. Gray mention, if students don't pass iRead in third grade, they can't move on to fourth grade. In recent years, though, the test has been given to second graders as well. They don't have to retest if they pass, so that is an option for those students there. And then here is another commentary, I believe, from a similar educator that our sister team in Evansville spoke to, just about what the investment has been so far to improve these iRead test scores.
Prioritizing literacy at every level, at every grade level. It's not just a third grade, even though it's a third grade test, it's not just something that happens in third grade. If we're not thinking about passing iRead when a child comes in kindergarten, we're not thinking right.
And so there you mentioned the peer there at that school district talking about literacy programs, making that investment in the kids happening earlier in their lives to better prepare them for when the iRead test does come up. All right, moving on now to more updates and stories. I'm going to show this graphic for you all. So this all stemmed from a Cortland Central Junior High teacher apparently found a bag of cocaine taped under a desk on Tuesday before students got to school. The Wave troubleshooters team found out this bag was actually a training device that was meant to be used by police canines. So Harrison County Sheriff Nick Smith says his office had planned a training for officers to come to the school before summer break ended. Sheriff Smith saying the bag wasn't found by the drug dog in question for whatever that was. The officer forgot to make sure that they then took that bag with them, retrieved them from the school. Sheriff Smith, in response to just our questions for what had happened, apologized for the mistake, says he's already changed the policy so that doesn't happen again. You could see, not planning to move forward, at least training in those schools. Now there must be 2 officers witnessing training aids are getting recovered from any type of training that the human officers do with their canines. Smith also, again, saying there won't be training in any schools moving forward. And now a troubleshooters update. And what you're seeing here is the social media page for a business in question. And the man at the center of the business, his name is Jeff Briscoe. This was a troubleshooters investigation not too long ago into the company's Southern Smokers. Well, Briscoe is now facing 30 new charges. He was arrested back in early May, right as troubleshooters were revealing he'd been paid to build barbecue smoke trailers for people, customers across the country, but hardly anyone got their finished trailer or even a refund. And so a prosecutor is now adding 30 more theft charges to this case on top of the first 11 charges Briscoe was handed. Apparently after 30 more people actually then came forward saying to the prosecutors that Briscoe owed them money. Briscoe's still in jail on a $250,000 bond, and his trial has now been pushed back to October. One more thing before we will wrap up for the night, as I will reset here at the desk to just prep those stories for you. So we're going to take a shorter break as we're going to set that thing up. So we'll be right back with more Wave Extra. So one more thing, stick around. All right, everyone. Setting up right now. For those of you on the stream, I was just moving some things around. So thanks for bearing with me right there as we're coming up on 8:50. Time to get to some one more thing, couple stories to share with you. So I'm going to bring that video up right now. So we just got word of this through Operation Boomerang. 2 furry new koalas have arrived at the Louisville Zoo thanks to a special delivery from UPS. So the precious cargo was inside there. Meet the koalas. They are called Chuckles and Mayala. These Australian marsupials were flown from the West Coast, and they came with a breeding recommendation, so that is the hope between this pair. The journey to Louisville, again called Operation Boomerang, was a task, signed a contract given to UPS logistics experts at Worldport. The koalas right now are getting pretty comfortable in their new home. It will take some time to get adjusted and will soon be viewable in their new habitat for zoo guests to check out. I would argue, koala bears tend to be, I would say, on the whole, a rather popular exhibit for folks. One of those things that if you sell with enough merchandise, and koala bears are just quite easy to find among the merch, but something to look forward to for zoo guests when they come by. So, one more story as we wrap up tonight. We found out there's a conference happening in October to help people build financial stability. Perhaps some struggled with some issues, and so the venue, at least to discuss financial stability, this is something that's happening at Caesars Southern Indiana. Now, the person who's kind of put all this together is a man from Louisville, only 23 years old. Wave Sunrise anchor Shannon Cogan is providing us an update in our What's Good series. So some good news to share with you, or at least talking about a story that might be inspiring or just something that would be of interest to any of you tuning in still tonight. We found out this is a guy who's been hustling since he was 8 years old, and so let's meet him.
Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
Thaddeus Major can often be found working on one of the homes he's flipping. So far, that number is up to 30. He's used to working hard for financial rewards, something he discovered at a young age.
So I wanted a remote control car, and my parents wouldn't get it for me because I had already gotten one remote control car.
His parents own Alpha Cheer Gymnastics. He started making and selling hair bows.
But everyone was buying them. I don't think anyone would buy a bow from an 8-year-old anyway.
Did you get the other remote control car?
Oh, I did, within a week.
The Brown Elementary School student turned that money into a new venture.
So I started cutting grass, knocking door to door at 13. I bought a lawnmower from my bow money.
He joined Future Business Leaders of America at Trinity High School.
I bought a lot of Bitcoin.
And invested in Bitcoin after learning about it, using that money to expand his landscaping crew to 10 and started throwing parties for high school kids they would pay to get in.
For every 100 persons, we will have 1 security guard. So I would have about 10 security. I would have 2 ambulances on standby.
He then turned his attention to real estate. Now he's working on stabling the income of families. He's putting on a conference called Eternal Wealth, where financial advisors and business leaders will offer insight to those in attendance.
Eternal wealth, because the wealth will last forever.
How did someone just 23 become so motivated?
I give a lot of credit to my parents. A lot of credit to my parents, and even more credit to God.
He says he's donated 16 lawnmowers to kids to give them a head start.
If I could give them that push, maybe they'll go farther than I did.
Shannon Cogan, Wave News.
And so that report there, conversation with our Shannon Cogan. Thaddeus also spends time talking to teens who might be currently just in custody at a juvenile detention center, just conversations about a future once they're able to leave, helping them form a business plan. So that's in part his way of giving back to the community. Her story, of course, and all the others you can always get updates on are right now on wave.com. I'll make sure to get back to the homepage here, but you can see, of course, the big story of the day. This was back in that original first of the 2 shootings happening at that corner on 10th and West Chestnut. Second T taken into custody, but a suspect still at large, and all the big stories stemming from that. You You can always get down to our top headlines, covering not just the Kentucky side of things, but of course what's going on in southern Indiana. Just a great resource there for you always to check out. And not just there, to sign up for the free push alerts by downloading our Wave News app and the Wave Weather app. Again, great tools for you to have in your smartphone whenever that new information pops up, and just know what's going on around your home and your neck of the woods. Appreciate everybody who's stuck around for tonight as we're hitting 8:55 on the social media streams and through your smart TVs on the Wave Now app. Tonight on Wave News at 11, it'll be back with a full lineup of the team. It'll be myself, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harned, looking for how to plan ahead for the next couple of days, as well as our reporters Logan Perrone and Julia Richardson focusing in on their stories for tonight. So make sure you join us for Wave News at 11. Until then, hope everyone takes care. We will see you again tomorrow at 8. Good night.